Hey guys, this is Writer's Passion here. So, coming to you with another passage video. This is actually going to be my second mystery passage video. So, this is going to be interesting. So, I written a passage, and if you don't know the rules, I'll explain them quickly. But basically, the rules are that I'm gonna read the passage, and it's gonna explain. It's gonna have clues inside the passage of where they're at, where specifically is happening, what is happening, and where they are. Where's the setting at? So I'm gonna read it, and you're gonna try to guess. So I'll read it one time, and then I'll let you guess, and I'll read it one more time. So here we go. I watched as my brother was strapped into the death machine against his will. He screamed on the top of his lungs and cried out to his father, who was forced tightly into it as well, and raised his hands up in the air in reaction to those events. I myself had been forced in between them while my heart started to beat uncontrollably, and I clenched the side of it with a nervous grip. My heart seemed to beat increasingly hard when the dangerous machine lurched forward and caused our bodies to lurch with it. We moved forward along a path that clicked loudly and watched as it seemed to threaten my life with it as every second passed by. The machine went up only to drop suddenly, a drop so deadly that I clenched my stomach in pain as my brain pressed against my skull and my stomach felt like it turned to mesh. I screamed the loudest scream as I thought I would die, but was proven wrong when the drops stopped dropping and the machine left our lives hanging in the balance. And the machine that left our lives hanging in the balance leveled out. I began to think that I had survived the playful game that this death machine seemed to think it was, only to take that thought of freedom back when our seats continued on by turning and causing our bodies to be whipped back and forth like rag dolls. I turned to see my brother, who cried out at the top of his lungs as well, and clenched his father in fear of his life coming to an end. When I began to think that there would be no end to this death trap that we were both strapped into, it came to a rest, and I looked at my dad with fear boiling in my face. Okay, so that's the passage. You could pause the video if you want to guess it, but I'll wait just like 1, 2, 3 seconds. So just for a second, and then okay. So I know this is short, but you could pause the video if you want. So basically, the answer to it is a roller coaster. So it's a roller coaster. And so it's like the first time that she's going on the roller coaster, so it's like really exhilarating, and she doesn't like it, so obviously she thinks it's a death trap. So I'll read it one more time. I watched as my brother was strapped into the death machine against his will, which is the roller coaster. He screamed at the top of his lungs and cried out to his father, who was forced tightly into it as well, and raised his hands up in the air to reaction to those events. So people raise their hands in the air when they're riding a roller coaster, kind of like that. I myself had been forced in between them while my heart started to beat uncontrollably, and I clenched the side of it with a nervous grip. So she's nervous. My heart seemed to beat increasingly hard when the dangerous machine lurched forward and caused our bodies to lurch with it. I moved forward along a path that clicked loudly and watched as it seemed to threaten my life as it passed by. The machine went up only to drop so suddenly, a drop so deadly that I clenched my stomach in pain, and my brain pressed against my skull as my stomach felt like it turned to mesh. So it's like all things you feel kind of when you're on a roller coaster. I screamed the loudest scream as I thought I would die, but was proven wrong when the drops stopped dropping, and the machine that left our lives hanging in a balance leveled out. I began to think I survived the playful game and that this death machine seemed to think it was, only to take that thought of freedom back when our seats continued on by turning and causing our bodies to be whipped back and forth like rag dolls. So like turns on the roller coaster. I turned to see my brother, who cried out on top of his lungs as well, and clenched my father in fear of his life coming to an end. When I began to think that there would be no end to this death, the rides came to a rest, and I turned to my father with fear boiling my face. So basically, that was the passage again. So it's basically the whole thing is it was kind of trying to trick you. That was a mystery passage. It was trying to trick you into thinking, into thinking that, oh, when with the words that I said, death trap and death machine, trying to make it like something more than it was, try to trick you into thinking that. But it was just a roller coaster that it was the first ride on the roller coaster, and they did not like it at all, so they think it's a death trap, kind of like that. So basically that's how it is. And yes, so that's my passage, and so that's how it's gonna go. So thank you for watching. I hope you guessed it right. Hope you like my videos. Please watch, subscribe, view. Thank you.